There's so much interesting stuff happening right now in the art and auction world. You guys mentioned the Beeple sale for $69 million. That is just the tip of the iceberg on some of the innovations we are working on here.
First up, we welcome Neda Whitney. She is the SVP and Head of Marketing for Christie's. Neda recently joined Christie's, and it seems there is no coincidence with Neda's arrival and the $69 million NFT sale of Beeple's art. Prior to Christie's, Neda spent 2 decades, working agency side around the world, most recently at RGA as the managing director. A fun fact, Neda thought politics was her future, and she served as a White House intern under the Clinton administration. Welcome, Neda.
Thanks, guys. So excited to be here. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Neda. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Quite well. Thanks for being here. Obviously, exciting timing, given all the buzz in the last couple of weeks. Before I get into the question for the show, why don't you give the audience maybe a 1 or 2 minute background on who you are? I'd like them to get to know you. And for everybody in the audience, I'm extracting a lot from Twitter in today's episode. First, big shout out to everybody on Instagram Live. I know the team is streaming it. The software we use doesn't automatically upload, but the team's holding camera to screens. So Instagram, welcome. Everybody get on Twitter, hashtag marketing for the now. If you have a question, there's the conversation, and there is Neda's Twitter handle next to her name. So to that point, Neda, give me 1 to 2 minutes on you and your career.
Yeah, as Andrew mentioned, I have spent 20 years on the agency side of things, working in New York, San Francisco, London, and Paris at all different types of agencies. Started my career at Interbrand in brand design, and then spent some time in PR, 360, multicultural. And in the past 10 years, I would say I really focused around digital and 360 marketing. So most recently, as was mentioned, I was the SVP Managing Director of Client Services at RGA, where I ran a number of different businesses, some really exciting stuff. I worked on Planned Parenthood, I worked on Uber, I worked on Amazon, and spent the last 1.5 years working on the Verizon business there. So a very eclectic career background, a mixed bag of clients, and never had I worked in the art or auction space until I got a call from the team at Christie's. And it was a call I couldn't refuse. There's so much interesting stuff happening right now in the art and auction world. You guys mentioned the Beeple sale for $69 million. That is just the tip of the iceberg on some of the innovations we are working on here at the firm. And so it was a really exciting time for me to dive in to what we call in the agency world a client side opportunity with a firm like Christie's, and understand how I could help be a proponent for digital innovation, new customers, new clients. I love your question about how we're turning clients into fans.
So let's go into that, Neda. I think, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who might have 10 clients on here, and then there's C-suite executives who have hundreds of thousands. From your perspective, maybe in the macro, and then maybe in the micro of what Christie's is doing specifically, how do you think about that question? How do you think about growing customers into actual fans?
Yeah, I think, Christie's is a 200-plus-year-old firm. So we got a lot of legacy there. And a lot of our business is still based around relationship building. It is core to what we do. And it is that one-to-one relationship building of really knowing our clients, knowing the art and artifacts they're interested in, and how do we meet that appetite. But as every single person I'm sure you're talking to out there is acknowledging, there's always the need to grow the lifeblood of your firm. And for us, that means new entrants into the art and auction space and intersecting with those passion points. So I think the NFT art that we recently sold has shown us that there is a completely new sector of folks out there that can really be engaged in the types of offerings that we have. We had over 91% of the registrants for that sale were new to Christie's. So there's always the opportunity to build that client base. And I think for us, it's finding out what are the passions we can truly service, whether that's with burgeoning spaces like digital art, or today we announced the innovation in our sales schedule for our 20th and 21st century art. So we're going to be splitting those sales to recognize the artwork done in the 20th century, and then create a platform for that done in the 21st, where those artists were dealing with really different topics like the AIDS crisis and race and gender, and now digital art. So seeing those trends and how they ebb and flow and how our clients are interested in them, and mimicking that and being really stewards of the art world in that way helps our clients turn into fans.
How do you think How do you define a fan versus a client in that sentence?
I think a fan is someone who wants to see what Christie's is doing next and what we're pinpointing. So in our industry, it is a duopoly. And I think because we sell unique art and artifacts, you're always going to want to buy the thing that resonates with you. There's no way that we can procure the exact same item as a Sotheby's or another auction house because they're one of a kind, which is a unique marketing challenge, right? To tell those stories with great regularity and frequency. But I think turning our clients into fans is making them want to hear the stories that we tell and the perspectives through which we tell them. So I think, with this 20 to 21 shift, creating a platform for new artists, that's something that only Christie's is doing, really creating that platform and allowing that art to stand alone from some of the masterpieces that we're also known for in the 20th century. I think with acknowledging digital art and creating a space for it, again, that's something that Christie's did first, and our clients can truly become fans of what we're going to recognize next and open their eyes to.
How do you think a small business can use NFTs to their advantage during this time? Any thoughts on that, given your great background in agency land and business land, just to take a step over here to bring value to everybody who's consuming? Anything stand out? You have a hot take on that? I mean, it's so early. And so, these are more hypotheses than they are, realities just yet, since it's so early. But anything stand out for you if you had you have a best friend who's got a SMB, and they're like, oh my God, you just had that big thing happen. Like, how should I be thinking about it with my coffee shop or my direct to consumer, olive oil, or any thoughts?
I think, listen, I've been on a lot of Clubhouse talks lately. I've heard you talk about this a lot. And one thing that you echo is a lot of NFTs are not going to be the $69 million success. There's a lot happening out there, and we got to be really careful with what makes sense for a brand authentically. I think right now in art and auction, the space that really makes sense is this is something that can replace those certificates of authenticity, can really do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of provenance and making sure that the artwork, we know where it's been exhibited and who's owned it, and create that trail of provenance. It's really, really valuable in the art space. I think for a small business, it's what is the thing with a lot of valuable and intellectual property that you potentially want to make unique to your brand. So if there is something you're doing out there that no one else is doing, how is there a way that you can use the blockchain to authenticate that and to own that in your space? It's, for us, it's really scalable because there is a lot of question marks in the art world around provenance and other things. For a small business, I feel like there's less of a use case unless there's something immediately ownable that you want to make sure everyone knows is yours and yours alone.